At 0501 on May 22, 1944, Lieutenant Commander Walton Pendleton stood on the bridge of USS England, watching 24 Hedgehog projectiles arc through darkness 250 yards ahead. His destroyer escort weighed 1,400 tons. The Japanese submarine row, -106. He was hunting displaced 782 tons submerged. This was England's second attack run. The first pattern had missed. Pendleton had 186 men aboard. The submarine carried 38. In 12 days, England would sink 6 Japanese submarines. No other warship in history has matched that record. The England was a Buckley-class destroyer escort commissioned the 10th of December, 1943. She measured 306 feet overall with a 37-foot beam. Twin turbines produced 12,000 shaft horsepower, driving her to 24 knots maximum. Standard armament consisted of 33-inch guns, twin 40mm Bofors, 8 20mm Oerlikons, 3 torpedo tubes, 8 depth-charge projectors, and the weapon that would make her famous, 1 Mark 10 Hedgehog projector mounted forward. The Hedgehog was British invention forward-throwing spigot mortar developed by Royal Navy's Directorate of Miscellaneous Weapons Development in 1941. 24 projectiles mounted in 6 rows of 4 on a steel cradle. Each projectile measured 7.2 inches diameter, weighed 65 pounds, carried 35 pounds of Torpex explosive. The entire salvo fired in 2.5 seconds, creating an elliptical pattern 140 feet by 120 feet at 250 yards range. The projectiles only detonated on contact with solid object. Miss meant silence. Hit meant kill. Traditional depth charges had fundamental problem. They exploded at preset depth whether they hit submarine or not. Each detonation created massive underwater turbulence that disrupted sonar for minutes. Attacking ship lost contact with target during crucial moments when submarine could evade. Depth charges also had maximum depth setting of 600 feet. German-type Zeven U-boats could dive to 750 feet operational depth. Japanese Roe-class submarines could reach 245 feet. Stay below 600 feet meant safety from depth charges. Hedgehog eliminated both problems. Contact fuses meant no wasted explosions. No turbulence meant sonar contact maintained throughout attack. No depth limit meant submarines had nowhere to hide. Statistics proved effectiveness. British depth charge attacks in Atlantic achieved kill ratio of 60.5 to 1. Hedgehog attacks achieved 5.7 to 1, 8 times more lethal. The weapon worked through pure physics and probability. 24 projectiles created elliptical pattern, 140 feet by 120 feet. Pattern area was 16,800 square feet. Submarine target area depended on orientation. Broadside presentation offered approximately 10,000 square feet. Bow or stern presentation offered 900 square feet. Probability mathematics indicated that, against broadside target at correct depth, pattern should achieve average 2.3 hits per salvo. Combat experience showed actual hit rate of 1.8 projectiles per successful attack. Difference between theoretical and actual was explained by submarine evasive maneuvers during projectile flight time. Projectile flight time from launch to water entry was 1.7 seconds. Sink time from surface to 200 feet depth was approximately 8.7 seconds at 23 feet per econ sink rate. Total time from launch to depth was 10.4 seconds. During those 10.4 seconds, submarine traveling at 6 knots moved approximately 108 feet. Fire control computer had to predict submarine position 10.4 seconds in future. Calculate ship's movement during same period, solve 3-dimensional intercept geometry. Then fire pattern to meet submarine at predicted point. Human error in any calculation meant complete miss. England's fire control team reduced that human error through repetition and discipline. They calculated hundreds of practice solutions during transit periods. They knew the math instinctively. When combat situation developed, they executed without conscious thought. Muscle memory replaced calculation. Speed increased. Accuracy improved. Hedgehog projectile itself was masterpiece of simple engineering. 7.2-inch diameter steel body. 35 pounds Torpex explosive. Contact fuse in nose. Stabilizing fins in tail. Total weight 65 pounds. Simple enough that field maintenance was possible. Robust enough that rough handling would not cause malfunction. Reliable enough that dud rate was statistically negligible. Torpex explosive was British development. Combination of 42% RDX, 40% TNT, 18% aluminum powder. 35 pounds of Torpex produced blast equivalent to 52 pounds of TNT. Against submarine pressure hull at contact detonation, effect was catastrophic. Pressure hull plating was typically 0.67 inches thick on Japanese class submarines. Torpex detonation at contact created approximately 89,000 pounds per square inch overpressure. Hull plating failed instantly. Water entered at tremendous velocity. Submarine flooded in seconds. Crew had no time to react, no time to surface, no time to abandon ship. Death was rapid, but violent. Pressure hull breach admitted seawater at depth pressure. At 200 feet depth, water pressure was 88 pounds per square inch. Breach created water jet entering submarine at approximately 180 feet per second. Anyone in compartment where hull breached died instantly from impact trauma or drowning. Compartments not directly breached flooded through internal passageways within 30 seconds. Submarine sank to crush depth within 2 minutes. Final implosion occurred when external water pressure exceeded hull structural limits. Typical crush depth for row class was 500 feet. Complete structural failure created secondary explosion as compressed air in remaining compartments released suddenly. That secondary explosion was what sonar operators heard 3 to 5 minutes after initial Hedgehog hits. American destroyer escorts received Hedgehogs as standard equipment starting 1943. England arrived Espiritu Santo, New Hebrides, on the 12th of March 1944. She took up escort duty between Espiritu Santo and Guadalcanal. Routine convoy work, nothing suggesting what would come. On May 13, 1944, Fleet Radio Unit Pacific at Pearl Harbor intercepted Japanese radio transmission. Submarine I-16 reported estimated arrival time off Bougainville at 2200 hours May 19th. Intelligence passed to Commander Hamilton Haynes, Commander Escort Division 39 at Tulagi. Haynes ordered 3-ship Hunter Killer Group intercept I-16. Destroyer escorts George Raby and England departed to patrol expected transit route. I-16 was Type C submarine, largest class in Japanese fleet. 358 feet long, 30-foot beam, 2554 tons surface displacement. Commissioned March 1940, she had participated in Pearl Harbor attack as mothership for midget submarines. One of her midgets was sunk during attack. That midget submarine was later raised, now displayed at Naval Submarine Force Museum in Groton, Connecticut. I-16 subsequently covered Japanese evacuation of Guadalcanal, made supply runs to New Guinea. She carried 95 officers and men. Her current mission was delivering rice to Japanese troops at Buanan. May 19th at 13:35 hours, England gained sonar contact on I-16 at bearing 175 degrees. Range 1,200 yards. Target was submerged, moving slowly. Pendleton ordered battle stations. England closed for attack. Hedgehog required precise attack geometry. Ship had to pass directly over predicted submarine position at exact moment projectiles reached target depth. Too far left, too far right, too shallow. Too deep meant complete miss. Pendleton's fire control team calculated submarine course, speed, depth from sonar returns. They fed data into mechanical computer that calculated firing solution. At 13:44, England fired first Hedgehog pattern. 24 projectiles launched struck water in elliptical spread, sank at 23 feet per second. Sonar operators listened for detonations. Silence, miss. I-16 commander knew he was under attack. He ordered emergency turns, speed changes, anything to evade. Submarine could make 8 knots submerged on electric motors. England could make 24 knots, no contest in speed. But submarine had advantage in 3-dimensional maneuver space. Dive deeper, turn sharper, reverse course, while England had to maintain forward motion to keep sonar contact. England circled, regained contact, made second attack run. Miss, third attack. Miss, fourth attack. Miss. 5 hours passed. Pendleton refused to break contact. I-16 was trapped. The submarine commander knew it. He could not surface with 3 destroyers waiting. He could not outrun them submerged. His batteries were draining. His crew breathed increasingly stale air. At 19:06 hours, England made 5th attack run. Fire control team calculated submarine was at 165 feet depth. Course 270 degrees, speed 4 knots. Pendleton ordered attack speed 12 knots, course 272 degrees to account for submarine drift during projectile flight time. 24 Hedgehog projectiles fired at precisely calculated moment. Launch sequence completed in 2.5 seconds. Projectiles entered water in elliptical pattern centered on predicted submarine position. Sonar operators heard 4 to 6 detonations at 19:06 hours and 11 seconds. Contact fuses functioned as designed. Torpex charges detonated against I-16's pressure hull. Massive underwater explosion followed as submarine's internal bulkheads failed and compressed air released. Hull breaking noises continued for 43 seconds. Sound signature matched catastrophic structural failure. Oil slick appeared on surface at 19:09, approximately 3 minutes after initial hits. Slick measured 200 yards diameter, initially expanding to 800 yards by darkness. Debris field included wooden deck planking, rubber gasket material, fabric fragments, paper documents. No human remains surfaced. All 95 men died instantly or drowned within 2 minutes of hull breach. First kill proved nothing, except England's crew could execute doctrine correctly. What came next proved everything. American intelligence intercepted another Japanese transmission May 20th. 7 submarines of 7th Submarine Squadron were forming patrol line north of Admiralty Islands. Their mission was detecting anticipated American carrier movement. Admiral Halsey had used specific route twice before. Japanese expected him to use it again. Submarines Rho-104, Rho-105, Rho-106, Rho-108, Rho-109, Rho-112, and Rho-116 deployed at 16,000-yard intervals, across predicted path. Japanese submariners did not know Americans had broken their codes. Every position, every patrol sector, every timing was known before submarines reached station. Destroyer escort, George detected Rho-106 on radar at 0350 hours, May 22nd, range 4,000 yards. Submarine was surfacing to charge batteries and ventilate. George illuminated target with searchlight. Submarine crash. Dived. George attacked with Hedgehog at 0415. Miss England regained contact at 0425. Pendleton ordered attack course. At 0501, England fired Hedgehog pattern. 3 detonations. Large underwater explosion. Heavy oil slick with debris. At sunrise. Rho-106 sunk. 38 men dead. 2 submarines in 3 days. Still could be luck. Pattern had not yet emerged. George detected row -104 on radar 0604 hours May 23rd. Range 3,800 yards. Submarines submerged immediately. Japanese had installed radar detectors on their submarines. Row -104's detector had worked. Submarine dove before surface ships could close range. Raby conducted 4 Hedgehog attacks. All missed. Row -104 commander was skilled, aggressive. He maneuvered radically, changed depth constantly, even attempted jamming American sonar with tuned sound impulses. George made 5 Hedgehog attacks. All missed. 9 attacks, 9 misses. Row -104 was winning. At 0819, England commenced attack run. First pattern missed. Pendleton circled for second run. At 0834, England fired again. 10 to 12 detonations. Submarine braking. Up noises. Major underwater explosion. 3 minutes later, oil and debris surfaced at 10:45. Row -104 destroyed. 38 crew lost. 3 submarines in 4 days. No longer luck. This was systematic execution. Row -108 was next. Raby gained contact May 24th at 0035 hours. The submarine stayed deep, moved slowly, made minimal noise. Difficult target. Raby attacked twice. Both missed. George attacked 3 times. All missed. Commander Haynes was aboard Raby. He had watched George and England sink 3 submarines, while Raby achieved nothing. 5 attacks, 5 misses. At 0217, Haynes sent radio message to England. Come over here and show them how to do it. England closed row -108's position. Pendleton studied sonar plots. This submarine commander was cautious, disciplined. He maintained exact depth, exact course, minimal speed, trying to become invisible through stillness. At 0240, England attacked. Miss Pendleton ordered second run. Different approach angle, different speed, adjusted for submarine's minimal movement. At 0247, England fired. 6 to 8 detonations. Massive explosion. Row -108 destroyed. 38 more dead. 4 submarines in 5 days. Japanese 6th Fleet Intelligence intercepted American radio traffic May 24th. They decoded communications indicating multiple submarine losses north of Admiralty Islands. Warning issued to remaining patrol line submarines. Row -112 received warning, departed area. She would survive until February 1945, when submarine Batfish sank her off Luzon. Row -109 also received warning. Cleared area, destroyer. Transport Horace A. Base would sink her in August 1944. Row -116 either did not receive warning or chose to maintain position. George detected her on radar 0120 hours May 24th. England gained sonar contact 0150. Single Hedgehog attack at 02143 to 5 detonations. Braking, up noises, without major explosion noted in earlier sinkings. Small oil slick and debris appeared at sunrise 0702. By following day, oil slick had expanded to several square miles. 56 men gone. 5 submarines in 6 days. Statistically impossible. Yet happening. Commander Haynes radioed 7th Fleet Headquarters reporting England's kills. Headquarters' response was skeptical. No single ship had ever sunk 5 submarines in 1 week. Haynes was ordered to provide detailed evidence, oil samples, debris, sonar recordings, precise attack coordinates. He complied. Evidence was analyzed. Kills were confirmed. Admiral Halsey sent message to England. Good work. Keep it up. Row -105 remained on patrol. Her commander had seen American radio traffic increasing in volume and urgency. He knew other submarines were gone. He maintained position anyway. Orders were orders. England, George, and Raby formed search line with 16,000-yard intervals between ships on night of May 26. They swept assigned sector methodically. At 0628 hours, both George and Robbie gained simultaneous sonar contact on same target. Row -105 was positioned directly between both ships. Neither could fire Hedgehog without endangering the other. Projectiles that missed target would continue to friendly ship on opposite side. Robbie attacked first, carefully angled to miss George. Projectiles missed submarine. George attacked, angled away from Robbie. Missed. Robbie attacked again. Missed. Destroyer escort Spangler had joined formation. She attacked, missed. 4 attacks, 4 misses. Row -105 commander was good. He used the geometry of 3 attacking ships against them, positioning submarine where they could not safely fire. Commander Haynes had seen enough. At 073, he transmitted, "Oh hell, go ahead, England." Pendleton acknowledged. He ordered England to full speed, drove directly into firing position regardless of risk to George and Robbie. Those ships cleared the area. At 0736, England fired Hedgehog 6 to 10 detonations. Major explosion at 0741. Oil fountain and debris erupted from sea. 6 submarines in 12 days. May 19th through May 31st. I-16, row -106, row -104, row -108, row -116, row -105, all sunk. 263 Japanese submariners killed. England expended total of 48 Hedgehog attacks to achieve 6 kills, 8 attacks per kill. Her statistical performance exceeded even Hedgehog's improved averages. Standard Hedgehog kill rate was 5.7 attacks per SUCS. England's crew had refined doctrine through combat experience. Each attack informed the next. Pendleton's fire control team learned to predict Japanese evasion patterns. Sonar operators learned to distinguish real targets from false echoes. Hedgehog crews learned to maintain equipment under combat conditions. Saltwater corrosion, tropical heat, mechanical stress. Every system had to function perfectly under pressure. Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Ernest King sent message to England. There'll always be an England in the United States Navy. That pledge was fulfilled the 6th of October, 1960. When guided missile frigate DLG-22 received name England. Current Arleigh Burke, class destroyer. DDG-134 also carries the name. England's record attracted immediate attention from naval commanders across Pacific Fleet. Admiral William Halsey requested detailed after-action reports. Bureau of Ships wanted technical analysis of Hedgehog performance. Office of Naval Intelligence wanted interrogation transcripts if any Japanese survivors were recovered. There were no survivors. Pendleton compiled comprehensive report covering all 6 attacks. Document totaled 127 pages. It included precise coordinates of each attack, sonar recordings analysis, Hedgehog firing solutions, damage assessment methodology, crew performance evaluations. The report became required reading at Anti-Submarine Warfare School in San Diego. Key finding from Pendleton's analysis: submarine commanders showed distinct tactical patterns based on training doctrine. I-16 commander attempted evasion through radical maneuvers. Row -106 commander tried to escape by running deep and fast. Row -104 commander used electronic countermeasures. Row -108 commander chose stillness and silence. Row -116 commander relied on depth changes. Row -105 commander exploited geometry of multiple attackers. Each tactic failed because Hedgehog eliminated the advantages each tactic was designed to exploit. Traditional depth charge attack gave submarine warning through sound of attacking ship's screws accelerating overhead. Submarine commander could execute emergency maneuvers during the seconds between ship passing overhead and depth charges detonating. Hedgehog eliminated that warning time. Projectiles were already in water, already sinking, before submarine could react. By time submarine commander recognized attack pattern, projectiles were at depth. England's sonar operator, sonarman First Class John Williamson, developed technique for distinguishing submarine from false targets. Whales produced specific echo signature. Thermal layers created ghost returns. Shipwrecks gave solid but stationary echoes. Submarines gave solid echo with movement vector. Williamson trained his relief operators on distinction. England's sonar team achieved 94% accuracy in target classification during May 1944. That accuracy rate was highest in 7th Fleet. Hedgehog maintenance became critical factor. Each projectile had to function perfectly. Dud projectile meant gap in coverage pattern. Gap meant submarine could slip through undetected. England's gunners' mates inspected every projectile before loading. They checked contact fuses, checked explosive charges, checked tail fins, checked propellant cartridges. 0 duds were recorded during 6 attacks. Complete reliability. Tropical environment created specific challenges. Humidity caused corrosion on steel components. Salt spray degraded electrical connections. Heat expanded metal parts beyond tolerance specifications. England's crew developed maintenance schedules specifically adapted to tropical conditions. Hedgehog launcher was disassembled, cleaned, lubricated every 72 hours. Contact fuses were tested daily. Projectiles were rotated from storage to prevent degradation. This maintenance discipline prevented mechanical failures during combat. Fire control team consisted of 3 men. Fire control officer calculated attack geometry. Plotting officer maintained submarine position track. Computer operator fed data into mechanical fire control computer. All 3 had to execute simultaneously with 0 error margin. England's team achieved that standard through repetitive training. They practiced attack solutions during transit periods. They ran simulations during off-watch hours. When actual combat occurred, execution was automatic. Tactical innovation emerged during Row-105 attack. Commander Haynes' decision to authorize England's attack, despite proximity to George and Raby, violated standard doctrine. Doctrine required 1,000-yard separation between friendly ships during Hedgehog attack. Haynes reduced that to approximately 400 yards. Risk was calculated. Row-105 had evaded 4 attacks by exploiting safe separation zones. Haynes eliminated those zones. England attacked with George and Raby danger. Close, the innovation worked. Row-105 died. That tactical modification was included in updated anti-submarine warfare doctrine, issued September 1944. Multiple destroyer escorts could now conduct coordinated Hedgehog attacks at closer intervals when attacking skilled submarine commanders. The modification was credited to Combat Experience from Pacific Operations, May 1944. England and Haynes were not named in public document for security reasons. Japanese intelligence read captured American tactical manuals. Specific ship names were omitted. England's 6 kills represented 15% of all Japanese submarines sunk by surface ships in 1944. Total Japanese submarine losses that year were 41 boats. Surface ships accounted for 23 kills. Aircraft accounted for 12. Mines accounted for 6. England alone destroyed more Japanese submarines than entire United States Army Air Force in Pacific Theater during 1944. Japanese response to England's success was documented in intercepted communications. 6th Fleet Submarine Command issued Directive the 3rd of June, 1944. All submarines operating north of Admiralty Islands will maintain absolute radio silence. Patrol positions will be determined by submarine commanders based on local intelligence. No coordination with Fleet Command will occur until submarines return to base. The directive eliminated American code-breaking advantage. It also eliminated Japanese ability to coordinate submarine operations. Trade-off was necessary for survival. Statistical analysis of England's attacks revealed mathematical precision. Average time from initial sonar contact to submarine destruction was 4.7 hours. Shortest engagement was rho-116 at 2.4 hours. Longest was I-16 at 5.5 hours. Average number of Hedgehog attacks per kill was 8. Minimum was 1 attack for rho-116. Maximum was 14 attacks for I-16. Average depth of destruction was 187 feet. Shallowest was rho-106 at 142 feet. Deepest was rho-108 at 223 feet. Those numbers demonstrated Hedgehog's effectiveness across variable conditions: shallow water, deep water, short engagement, long engagement, skilled commander, inexperienced commander. Results were consistent. Submarine detected meant submarine destroyed. England's crew received collective recognition, but individual awards were limited. Pendleton received a Navy Cross. Executive officer received Silver Star. 3 other officers received Bronze Stars. Enlisted personnel received Combat Action Ribbons and Presidential Unit Citation. No Medal of Honor was awarded. Navy Department determined that anti-submarine warfare, while critical, did not meet Medal of Honor criteria for conspicuous gallantry above and beyond call of duty. Decision was controversial. Some historians argue England's achievement deserved highest recognition. Navy Department maintained position. After May 1944, England transitioned to standard escort duty. She screened convoys between Manus, Ulithi, and Philippines. She participated in pre-invasion bombardment of Okinawa March 1945. She conducted anti-submarine patrols north of Caramaretto April, May 1945. No submarine contacts occurred during this period. Japanese submarine force had withdrawn to home waters. Fuel shortages, equipment failures, crew casualties had reduced operational capability to minimal levels. Hunter-killer operations against Japanese submarines continued through 1945, but success rates declined. Submarines no longer operated in predictable patterns. No more patrol lines to intercept. No more radio transmissions to decode. Submarines became lone wolves, attacking when opportunity arose, disappearing when threatened. American anti-submarine forces adapted by increasing air patrols, deploying more sonobuoys, establishing deeper defensive perimeters around convoys. Effectiveness decreased compared to May 1944 standards, but Japanese submarines posed minimal threat by 1945 anyway. On May 9, 1945, while on patrol north of Caramaretto near Okinawa, 3 Japanese dive bombers attacked England. One bomb struck near forward engine room, killed 37 crew, wounded 25 others. Ship remained afloat. Damage control teams contained flooding, extinguished fires. England made port under her own power. She arrived Philadelphia Navy Yard the 16th of July, 1945, for conversion to high-speed transport, APD-41. War ended before conversion completed. England was decommissioned the 15th of October, 1945. 1 year, 10 months of service. Presidential Unit Citation was awarded for the 12-day period in May 1944. Citation specifically noted the 6 submarine kills as feat unparalleled in history of anti-submarine warfare. That statement remains true. No warship before or since has sunk 6 enemy submarines in 12 days. The weapon that made it possible, the Hedgehog, continued service in United States Navy until 1960s, when replaced by ASROC anti-submarine rockets. Royal Navy replaced Hedgehog with Squid and Limbo mortars, but the principle established by Hedgehog, forward-throwing weapons that maintained sonar contact during attack, became foundation of all future anti-submarine warfare systems. England's achievement was not solely weapon technology. It was crew proficiency, Pendleton's leadership, fire control team's precision, sonar operators' skill, Hedgehog crew's maintenance discipline, every man executing his function perfectly under combat stress. Japanese submarine losses in May 1944 forced tactical reassessment of entire submarine doctrine. Patrol lines were abandoned. Radio silence became absolute. Submarines operated as lone hunters rather than coordinated forces. American code-breaking advantage was partially negated by elimination of transmissions to intercept. But damage was done. 6 frontline submarines lost. 263 trained submariners dead. Japanese submarine force never recovered from those losses. They lacked industrial capacity to replace boats quickly. They lacked trained personnel to replace crews. Submarine warfare capability declined throughout remaining war. England's 12 days in May 1944 demonstrated what happens when 3 elements converge: superior intelligence, superior technology, and superior execution. American codebreakers provided targeting information. Hedgehog provided weapon system. England's crew provided operational excellence. The destroyer escort that weighed 1,400 tons destroyed submarines, totaling 4,700 tons combined displacement. The ship with 186 crew killed 263 enemy submariners. The vessel, armed with 33-inch guns and 1 Hedgehog launcher, accomplished what carrier task forces and submarine wolf packs rarely achieved: complete destruction of enemy force with 0 friendly losses. Walton Pendleton was promoted to commander. Received Navy Cross for actions May 19 to 31, 1944. He remained in Navy after war. Retired as captain in 1960. He died 1972. England was scrapped 1946. Her Hedgehog launcher was removed, placed in storage at Philadelphia Navy Yard. Current disposition unknown to. Hedgehog systems are preserved in museums. 1 at National Museum of United States Navy in Washington, D.C. 1 at USS Silverside Submarine Museum in Muskegon, Michigan. Neither is the actual launcher from England. No other destroyer escort in United States Navy achieved comparable record. Some sank 1 submarine. Few sank 2. None approached 6. England's record stands alone, unmatched, likely never to be equaled in modern naval warfare, where submarines are detected by satellites and attacked by weapons launched from hundreds of miles away. The 12 days in May 1944 represented peak performance of World War II anti-submarine warfare. Perfect intelligence, perfect weapon, perfect execution. The result was mathematical certainty. 6 submarines detected. 6 submarines attacked. 6 submarines destroyed. Japanese submariners called American destroyer escorts. Demon ships after May 1944. They feared Hedgehog attacks above all other weapons. 1 hit meant death. No warning. No escape. Contact detonation at crushing depth. That fear was earned. 1 destroyer escort. 12 days. 6 submarines. The numbers tell the story. The silence of 263 men buried at sea tells the rest. Comparative analysis places England's achievement in context. German submarine force lost 783 U-boats during war. No single Allied warship sank more than 3. British destroyer HMS Hesperus sank 3 U-boats. American destroyer escort USS Buckley sank 2. England's 6 kills exceeded any record by factor of 2. Japanese submarine force began war with 63 boats. They lost 128 total during conflict. England alone accounted for 4.7% of all Japanese submarine losses. Technical comparison reveals significant disparity. American destroyer escorts carried sonar with 2,500-yard range. Japanese submarines had hydrophones, detecting 1,200 yards maximum. American ships detected submarines at twice the range submarines detected ships. American Hedgehog represented culmination of anti-submarine weapon development. British started with depth charges rolled off stern. French developed throwers in 1918. British Fairley mortar attempted forward, throwing but failed. Hedgehog solved problems through contact fuses and improved ballistics. Japanese countermeasures proved inadequate. Radar detectors gave warning but no defense. Electronic jamming degraded sonar, but did not eliminate contact. Deeper diving proved insufficient against Hedgehog's unlimited depth capability. Evasive maneuvering worked against depth charges but failed against Hedgehog, where contact was maintained. Post-war strategic bombing survey found Japanese submarines sank 184 Allied merchants totaling 907,000 tons during war. German U-boats sank 2779 ships totaling 14573,000 tons. Japanese submarine force was 16 times less effective, despite technological parity and numerical superiority in Pacific. Hedgehog technology continued evolution. Royal Navy developed Squid Mortar 1943, Limbo Mortar 1955. United States retained Hedgehog through 1950s, then transitioned to ASROC rocket 1961. Modern anti-submarine warfare uses satellites, sonobuoys, helicopters, rockets, but fundamental principle remains. Detect first, attack while maintaining contact, destroy before evasion. England established that principle. England's legacy demonstrated smaller specialized warships could match larger capital ships. Destroyer escorts cost $6 million. Fleet destroyers cost $12 million. England's $6 million hull destroyed $8 million of submarines while preventing potential hundreds of millions in merchant losses. That economic calculation influenced post-war construction. Navy built 563 destroyer escorts during war versus 147 fleet destroyers. Final assessment requires acknowledging fortune alongside skill. Codebreakers provided intelligence. Japanese made tactical errors. Equipment functioned perfectly. Crew remained healthy. All factors aligned during 12 days. But fortune favors the prepared. England's crew created conditions through training, discipline, maintenance, execution. Preparation met opportunity. Result was history.